So let's start with conditional statements. Conditional statements are basically decision-making statements, and we come across them all the time. We uh, take decisions every time, and on those decisions, our further actions depend. Similarly, in programming, when we take a certain decision, the execution of the next block of code depends on that decision. So, simply in simple words, these are like suppose your mom tells you to go to the market and she tells you to get potatoes. And suppose if you don't find potatoes, then what? Then maybe she tells you to get tomatoes or just to come back. So, you take a decision at that point. So, that makes the decision making statements or conditional statements. So, the most simplest form of conditional statement is the if statement, which is which basically has a if statement, which is something like suppose when you wake up in the morning and your alarm is ringing. So you think in your minds that what will happen when you if you don't wake up, like if you don't listen to the alarm and just snooze it off and sleep. So and so the syntax of if statement is something like we first execute the condition, which is the if condition, and then or based on that if condition, if it comes out to be true, we execute the code which is inside the if block. So let's take a very simple example. We all have been inside our homes because of lockdown for quite a long time, and we have a lot of us have put on a lot of weight, and so I think this every day that if I don't work out, I will gain weight. But I still don't work out. But we can see that this is a decision-making statement. Like it's a form of if statement. Uh, so let's see what will it look like if we if we use it in C programming, C++ programming. So So here I am going to declare one variable, Boolean variable exercise, and I'll put it to false because I don't exercise. And now I am using the if condition to check if exercise is false. And if exercise is false, which is true in our case, the statement I will gain weight will print out. So let's try executing it. Obviously I will gain weight will print out. So this was the simple if statement which we have, and now suppose we all it's never like we just have one option for things to do. Like we can have a lot of options. So s- considering the previous example which I took of going to the market, that if you don't find potatoes, get tomatoes or else come back from the market. So this is make basically if else statement, or Hindi mein agar if I say this, it's agar magar statement. So now now talking about that workout example. So if we took the if condition to check if exercising was false and it came out to be false, but what if a person was exercising every day? We'll need the else statement that will print out that the person will stay fit, that he will not gain weight. So the working of if else statement is something like first the if condition will be checked, and if it comes out to be true, the if block will be executed. And suppose if the if condition turns out to be false, the else block will be executed. Let's write a code to understand it better. So so in the previous example, we declared a variable, Boolean variable exercise, and this time we'll declare the Boolean variable to be true because that person is exercising, because we are considering that the person is exercising. So we are checking the if condition for exercise, and let's make it false here because we have to see the working of else block. Okay, so we are checking if the if condition is what is the we're checking the if condition, and it is uh, checking if the exercise is false, but the exercise variable is true. Therefore, it will not execute the if block and it will execute the else block. So I will get I will get just a second. Let's just do something like exercise is false, and let's make this true. All right. So now, obviously, I will get fat will print out because okay. So the else block got executed, and I will get fat got printed out. So this was the if else statement in C++. And now let's talk about a scenario where you have uh, when suppose after checking the if condition, there is one more if condition to check. Now talking about it's working, let's just see the syntax first. So first the if condition is checked for, and if the if condition is true, it will go inside the if block and again will come across another if statement. And if that if condition is true, if block will get executed, or otherwise the else block will get executed. And now let's go back to the if statement, if condition, which was there in the first. Suppose if this if condition is false, the else block will execute it, and we'll have again have to check for another if condition. So this will be more clear if we take an example. So let's go back to code, and what we are going to do is, so suppose if a person wants to lose weight, he definitely has to exercise and as well as uh, do dieting, some sort of dieting. Like then, if they continue eating a lot, nobody, they are not going to lose weight no matter what. So we are going to declare one more variable diet, and let's just declare it false for now. All right. So now we are checking in the first if condition. We are checking if the exercise is true. Suppose if the exercise is true, we'll go inside the if block and we'll check for dieting. And suppose if dieting is false, it will execute the if block. And if the dieting variable is true, it will obviously print out the else block. And suppose if in the first condition the exercise, if this condition was false, then it will definitely just execute the else block. So let's just run it and see what it will print. It is printing I will still get fat because it checked for the exercise variable which was true. So it went inside the if block and then it checked for the diet variable which was false. That means this condition is true and it printed out I will still get fat. Okay, so now suppose we have if else if ladder. So this is something like going to the market. Jab, when your suppose your mother is sending you to the market, the first example which we took. So it's like, well, she told you to go to the market and buy potatoes, and if you don't find potatoes, buy tomatoes, या फिर get milk, and if you don't find milk, then come back to the house. So this is what if else if ladder is like. First, the if condition is checked for, and suppose if that statement is false, it will go to the else if condition, and if that condition is also false, it will go to the else statement. So it's very simple. Like it's just you have to give a condition on each step, and if any of the condition is true, it will just execute that particular block, or otherwise it will just go to the else statement. So if we talk about decision, if to be like to sum it up, decision making statement is something like हमें वी टेक डिसीजंस राइट. तो जैसे अगर हमें मशीन को बोलना है कि चेक इफ अ पर्सन इज 18 years old or not, तो यहाँ पे विल पुट एन इफ कंडीशन, एंड अगर वो 18-year-old का है तो लेट दैट पर्सन ड्राइव, अदरवाइज डू नॉट लेट दैट पर्सन ड्राइव. और वैसे ही सो this is how the computer understands and executes the decision making statements. Let's also write a small code for if else if, and this time we'll just take a very simple example. What we'll just do is we'll go with the uh, let's just take a condition where we'll declare two numbers where a is equal to 5 and another number where b is equal to 6. If a is greater than b, then just print out the value of a. And now let's do else if b is greater than a, then print out the value of b. And let's put the last condition, something, we don't have to give any statement, any condition statement in else block. So let's just print out b if sorry, let's just if, so what could be the last condition? अगर a b से बड़ा है तो a print कर दो, या अगर b a से बड़ा है तो b print कर दो, और अगर दोनों equal है, in that case we are introducing the else block and printing out the value, or we're just printing out equal. So this is how an if else if decision making conditional statements work. So in this case, obviously value of b will print out because b is greater than a. And now let's talk about ternary operator, which is basically a short form of if else if, sorry, if else statement, if else condition statement. So we, what we do is first we take an expression, and if we are putting the question mark to see if that expression or the condition is true. If the condition is true, the expression next to the question mark gets executed, and if that condition is false, the expression in the last gets executed. So this is just a short form of writing if else ternary operators. We are declaring three variables a, b, and c, and in c we are storing the result of the ternary operator. Like, so in this case we are checking if a is greater than b, and so we are using the question mark to check the condition, and if a, and since in our case a is smaller than b, we are getting the value of b printed. So this is how ternary operators work, and that's it. That's what we have in conditional statements.